Well, hello there and welcome to this video on automatic versus manual calculation in Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel will calculate automatically by default. It will calculate the values for formulas in cells by default, but sometimes you might want to change that to manual, especially when you've got a lot of data and a lot of formulas looking at that data. So the data here is some data from the Los Angeles Fire Department, and as you can see, if we scroll down, we have just over 1 million rows. So quite a lot of data for Excel to be handling. And if you see here in columns L to N, I have put in some formulas that are looking at the data. So the column L is comparing on-scene time versus time of dispatch, whereas column M is looking at column L and doing an if statement on that, and then column N is looking at column M and doing an if statement on that. So basically, if we change anything in this formula, so if, say we wanted to change the formula in column L, what will happen is we can change that formula, we can copy it down, but it will recalculate, Excel will recalculate all of the formulas that are looking at it. So if we were just to change it to en route or in route time compared to on scene time, so it was K3 minus J3 instead of I3. Press return, and then if we just double click on the bottom right hand corner of the cell to copy it down the full length of the data, you'll see it's taking a very long time to do that. And Excel's using all sorts of resources on the system to do that. And finally it's got there. So yeah, that's basically because when it's calculating that formula, it's also then having to calculate the formulas in the other two columns at the same time. So to prevent that happening, if we click on formulas, and then you'll see at the end here there's the calculations section, we can go to calculation options, and there's three options. Automatic, which is the default, automatic except for data tables, which is basically it will calculate everything except for preset data tables, and manual. So click on manual now, and if we now make another change, maybe change it back to column I again, just get rid of the J's and go for I's instead, press return, and then copy that down. You can see that that's faster, and also that these two columns here haven't recalculated. Before it was all OKs and no issues. It changed to check and this text string here, and yeah, now it hasn't changed back because it hasn't recalculated those cells. But it means that we can play around with this column independent of the rest of the sheet, and bearing in mind, obviously, you can quite easily end up with sheets with enormous numbers of formulas that are all looking at each other and doing different things, and often quite long sheets with quite a lot of data on them. The time saving from using manual calculation is quite significant. So, when we want to calculate it, we can press F9, or we can click on Calculate Sheet up here, and yeah, that would be for when we finish doing everything else, and then the sheet will calculate. The other advantage to using manual calculation is all the other operations on the sheet will go quicker in terms of inserting lines and columns and things like that. It won't force the sheet to recalculate when you do that, and you can choose the time when you want to recalculate it. So yes, that is the use of manual calculation in Microsoft Excel. Thanks for watching.